All right, let's talk about what happens after you talk to an AI. We're going to track the secret life of your data right from the moment you hit send.
So you type something into a chatbot. Maybe it's a question, a secret, maybe even some sensitive company info. You hit enter. And then what? Does that message just, vanish into the digital ether? Or does it get absorbed into the AI's giant brain, ready to help answer someone else's question tomorrow? That's the big question we're tackling today.
Okay, so as soon as you send that prompt, your data starts a journey. And it really only goes down one of two paths. Getting your head around these two is the key to, well, everything.
So first up is processing. This is the here and now. The AI reads your prompt just to figure out what you want and give you an answer. It's pretty straightforward, like a transaction. But then there's training, and this is where it gets interesting. With this path, a copy of your conversation gets saved. Why? To help the AI learn, to make it smarter, more accurate, and honestly, more useful for everyone else. This is the path that has a lot more twists and turns.
Now, you'd probably think this whole thing is automated, right? Just a bunch of servers doing their thing. But that's not the whole story. Turns out there's a very human element involved.
And boom, here it is, straight from OpenAI's own FAQ. The single sentence tells you so much. It's not just a faceless algorithm learning from your data. To help the AI get better and to check its work, actual human beings, contractors, are often brought in to read, rate, and basically grade your conversations.
So let that sink in. The key takeaway here is that it's not always just a machine on the other end. Sometimes it could literally be a person in a cubicle reading your chat to see if the AI did a good job. They're there to help, of course, but it means your chats, well, they might not be as private as you thought.
Okay, so let's get into the real dangers. Once your data's in the system, it's not just about who might be reading it. It's also about how it could get out, either by accident or through a malicious attack.
So the first big risk is something called memorization. This is pretty much what it sounds like. Instead of learning a concept, the AI just memorizes a specific piece of text it was trained on and then, just spits it back out verbatim. It's not thinking, it's just regurgitating.
And why should you care? Well, what if that training data it spits out was part of another user's private conversation? Suddenly, the AI could be leaking someone else's sensitive info right into your chat. And yeah, this has actually happened with things like private code and personal details.
Now, the second risk is a lot more intentional. It's called a prompt injection attack. You can think of it as basically tricking or, hacking the AI. An attacker writes a sneaky prompt that tells the AI to ignore its real instructions and do something else entirely.
It can be as simple as this. An attacker just tells the AI to forget what it's supposed to do and instead leaks sensitive data. And if that AI has access to, say, internal company documents or customer info, you can see how this gets really bad really fast. It's a surprisingly simple but incredibly effective way to break things.
So, we've seen the risks, which are pretty serious. But at the same time, the tech is taking a huge leap forward. AI companies are building a new kind of model, one that intentionally remembers who you are to give you a much more personal experience.
This really shows the massive shift that's happening. For the longest time, we've treated AI like a calculator. You punch in a question, you get an answer, and then it instantly forgets you ever existed. The new model, though, it's more like a companion, an AI that remembers your job, your writing style, your projects, so you don't have to explain yourself over and over again.
And this really gets to the heart of the trade-off, doesn't it? It's a genuinely tough choice. An AI that knows you can be amazingly helpful and convenient. But it also means you're trusting a company with this detailed, evolving profile all about you. So, which do you want?
The good news in all of this is that you're not helpless. As all these new features roll out, companies are also giving us new ways to control our data. You absolutely can, and you should, take control of what these AIs remember.
Okay, this right here, this is probably the most important setting you need to know. You got to dig into your chatbot settings, find something called data controls, and then look for chat history and training. If you turn this off, you're basically telling the company, hey, you can answer my question, but you absolutely cannot keep a copy to train your models. This is your big red opt-out button.
Now, for those new companion features, the controls are even more specific. You can usually find a Manage Memories section where you can see a literal list of facts the AI has saved about you. So if it remembers you're a designer but you just switched to engineering, you can go right in and delete that one specific memory. You get line-by-line control.
And here's one more really powerful tool for your toolbox. A lot of AIs now have a temporary chat mode. It works just like incognito mode on your web browser. When you use it, the chat doesn't get saved and it's not used for training. It's perfect for those times you need to talk about something a bit more sensitive.
Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, please let it be this. Don't put anything into a public chatbot that you wouldn't be okay with shouting in a crowded room. These tools are incredibly powerful, but they are not a private, secure vault.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Seriously, go check your settings right now. See what you're sharing, and then you have to decide, are you keeping that memory feature on for convenience, or are you turning it off for privacy? There's no single right answer for everybody, but it's a choice you really should be making for yourself.